And looks like I'm well on way to having some blueberries. In the middle of December, they're beginning to already bloom.
Welcome back everyone to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you a tour of my blueberries. I do have several different varieties, tend to be southern high bush varieties. It is winter now, the cold front came, but the sun's out, so things are heating up. As you can see, this is a very awkward, strange year, as the blueberries bushes did not go deciduous or dormant this year. They just kept growing. You can see they have their full leaves on. Many of them are fully green. Normally they'll tend to drop their leaves in winter and have more of a red hue on the leaves, at which point you'll see them forming their buds to flower and set fruit for the winter. So they tend to bloom in the middle of winter. Altogether, I've not seen this happen, so this is a new threshold for me. Altogether, I do grow blueberries in containers. I did put them in the ground, but too much rainfall and erosion did have a problem with it. It made the soil too alkaline, so a higher pH. They like extremely low pH, extremely acidic soil. So here I don't use sprinklers, I don't even use any hard water for that matter. I do water them through natural rainwater. I've been fortunate enough that I could neglect them and they would do fine. And I also use rainwater or try to acidify any water I give them. You can do this with vinegar and other processes. I do put soil acidifier as well. So not only are they just growing in pure peat moss, with a little bit of compost, they are growing with soil acidifier as well. They definitely need it, and the sulfur base will help acidify the soil and bring that pH down lower. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking some cuttings and applying the 3Ds for my maintenance, which are the diseased, damaged, and dying. These are going to be pruned. Any crossing branches do tend to get more disease, so I'll prune those out and maybe use them as cuttings as well. So follow along as I prune and show you my blueberries. This first up is the emerald blueberry bush. It is beginning to form its buds, but I do need to maintain some pruning. Some of this loose branches here don't produce anything, so I'll have to remove them. They're like too disease, damage. I'm going to remove some old canes. This one in the back seems to be the most damaged, diseased here. So I'm going to remove that whole one in the back, if you can see it. So from the base, I'm going to cut it. It's going to encourage it to shoot more canes, green canes, and that's what I want for it to grow. I know this does impact the production of your blueberries that year, but the overall vigor of the blueberry bush is needed. So I'm going to get to it. So first one up I see here is going to be this main cane. It's an old cane. I don't see it with too many fruiting buds on it. It does have some. So I might just remove it altogether. It is too old. And in the back, let me see if I want to do it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with it. You cut it. Yeah. Trying to do a better clean cut there. Man, it is woody. There. A little bit better. Any of the small stuff damaged, diseased, I'm going to remove it. As you can see, it's more airy. I do want to remove that cane, but it has shoot up a lot of growth. So I do want to fruit it, as it might fruit. Set some fruit there, although that should be crossed. I think I've removed enough of it for one take. But it's much more airy, much more open. I'm going to do the likewise to the rest of them. I'm going to have to clean and sterilize my blade. My pruners, actually, my shears. This one here is already beginning to bloom. I don't know what variety. I thought it was sunshine blue. But I honestly don't. It has struggled a bit. It was in the ground. I might have to acidify the soil more and whatnot, but this straggly growth isn't going to produce much of anything, so I'm going to clear it up to help encourage it. Anything disease, damaged, or dying is going to be removed as well, and hopefully it rebounds. This one here has done well. It hasn't gone deciduous this year, which is a little bit weird, and it is a sunshine. It's done very well. I'm going to clear up some space to give it. It's very bushy, so it's done well. And this one here as well is the BLUEBERRIES. It has started a set fruit. It has this new cane coming up, which is good. I'll make sure it has what it needs to be successful. And this one here is my star. This scraggly growth I'm going to prune out so it can grow these strong canes like this here. For this blueberry bush, you see that it's going to bud. It's doing pretty well. The disease I'm going to remove. This new growth, this new tender growth, as long as it's not too leggy, it is the one you want to select for using cuttings. There's several in here, and this is high density. See how firm they are with their new green growth. I'm going to take these as propagation cuttings.
Now moving on to the cuttings, I'm going to moisten the soil with some rainwater because it's much more acidic.
I'm going to use some rooting hormone and just stick them in and back. Although this is not recommended, I do take my long cane that was diseased. I'm going to take the ends because they're kind of healthy and use them as cuttings.
I know when you're doing cuttings for blueberries, it's recommended to use sand instead of peat moss, but I don't want to waste the sand I have at hand.
These large pieces, I'm going to likewise remove. I keep the leaves on because I'm going to do a greenhouse effect on them, but it'll help them root and grow quicker than if you remove the leaves. So for me, I keep the leaves.
My sincerest apologies for the audio quality and the grackles in the background. I cannot remove them. Anyways, here in this clip, I'm just cutting a bit of the end so the rooting hormone takes. You don't want to cut too much because you risk infecting the cutting. And if you don't have rooting hormone, use aloe vera. If you don't have any of them, just put it in the ground.
So I'm putting all the emerald on one side. I'll wire that in. I'm going to do the rest in each order so they're labeled and wrap them in a plastic bag, and I'll do it. So all together I have the Darrow, the Biloxi, Southern Misty, the Star, the Sunshine, an unknown, I believe it's the Sunshine, and the Emerald.
Just to illustrate what I use to fertilize my blueberry bushes and to feed them, I use Hollytone. You should use Berrytone, but Hollytone is the only thing I have at hand, and I mix a cup of it with about a soil acidifier. This helps bring down the pH and helps the blueberry bushes absorb nutrients from the soil. If you don't have any of these at hand, you can always use used coffee grinds to help reduce and lower the pH. Now, as you've probably seen from the clips, I do grow the blueberries now in containers off the ground. It was just too risky having them in the ground. It took too much to acidify the soil. although they were very acidic when I first planted them. There's other trees in the way that might compete. Earthworms might start eating the peat moss and going through it, and the downpour just washes it away. So I'm putting them off the ground, even the containers themselves, and I put a tile underneath because the splashback here from the soil would actually go into the containers and make it more alkaline. So that's why I keep them completely off the ground. As you can see, I spread the mixture of my fertilizer on the surface. Don't ever scratch the fertilizer into the ground like you would do other plants. Blueberries have very shallow feeding roots and they don't like being having scratched on like that the surface. So keep it as calm as possible, but do spread it like as you can see I'm doing here. I just spread it all around. I do see actually people using more soil acidifier than this, but I think they're pretty well off. So in this clip here, I'm showing my blueberry cuttings. That is jasmine actually there. I don't know how it got there, but it does like acidic soil. So anyways, these are 1 year old blueberry cuttings I did, and those are some cranberries there. So that one was actually struggling. I was able to revive it a bit using acidic vinegar mixed with water. It had some pests attacking the roots, and you just make it more acidic, and that cures any pests attacking the roots. It's the one fortunate thing about blueberries that you can make it more acidic than what bugs can tolerate. I hope you enjoyed this video and this video inspires you to grow your own blueberries and do your own blueberry cuttings. Leave any comments that you have. I'll love to answer them and follow along for updates to see which one's fruits. So leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.